Get back to me after you fire Bill Ayers. FOO, friend of Obama. In any case, though, I might say, you know, I mentioned Governor Palin, Senator Obama, or excuse me, President Obama, if I must, doesn't have a lot of respect for Governor Palin. You know, the other day he got real snarky when George Stephanopoulos asked him, you know, what do you think of the fact that she didn't think much of you suggesting that even if somebody attacks us with chemical weapons, we're not going to retaliate with nuclear weapons. No, we're not going to do that. Now, some of you naysayers out there, you guys say Obama has not created jobs.
Yeah.
Well, but now, we heard Patrick Henry earlier. He told you the 16,500 IRS agents.
Yeah,
there you go. And how about all the people that make biochemical weapons?
That's jobs.
They're gonna, yeah, there's a job opportunity there now that they know that they won't be nuked. But anyway, he didn't think much of that. And he said, you know, last time I checked, Sarah Palin was no expert on nuclear issues. Remember that? And I said to myself, yeah, because nothing screams nuclear expert like community organizer.
The liberal professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago, Dick Simpson, says 5% of all state spending is waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse. That's $2.5 billion. Speaker Madigan opposes the forensic audit. He says a forensic audit will cost too much.
Open the books.
Speaker Madigan, you cost too much. There's one guy who's been there for 20 years, who's most responsible for $120 billion worth of long-term debt on your children and our grandchildren and the generations to come, who's led in pension debt, whose state is $13 billion underwater on their budget, and it's House Speaker Michael Madigan. Speaker Madigan, you cost too much.
Get out.
Get out. Speaker Madigan.
Get out.
You cost too much, open the books. Speaker Madigan, don't make this a partisan issue.
It is.
Kansas Democrat, 2004, she saved her taxpayers $1.1 billion and stopped the tax hike. Time magazine said that year she was one of the top 5 governors in America for doing a forensic audit of state spending. A Texas Democrat saved $8 billion. Speaker Madigan, don't make this partisan.
Open the books.
We got good news. Last week, in the House, unanimously, Speaker Madigan, every Democrat, every Republican passed an anti-fraud measure, a forensic audit of Medicaid.
How about Madigan?
Nobody voted against it. Speaker Madigan has no problem forensic auditing the fraud, and that's good policy, but he has no problem forensic auditing the fraud of doctors, hospitals, and the poor.
How about him?
Speaker Madigan, let's audit your spending. Speaker Madigan, open the books. I read the New York Times yesterday because Aristotle said, know thine enemy. That's why.
You're right.
And it said that the Tea Party folks, they did this survey, and the Tea Party folks are actually supportive of new entitlements and think the tax burden is fair. Is that right?
No.
So you're telling me that New York Times got it wrong?
You're right.
The impact of the Tea Party movement. Representative Bart Stupak. In the spirit of opening day and the baseball season kicking off, a friend of mine pointed out in true Harry Carey fashion that Stupak spelled backwards is kaputs. And Bart Stupak is kaputs because of Tea Party folks here and around the country, and the rest of the congressional Democrats are going to be kaputs on November 2nd. Henry Waxman. Right. The impact of the Tea Party. Henry Waxman was going to have Star Chamber proceedings with some of our major employers, Caterpillar, John Deere. Irony of ironies. He was whistling our major private sector employers before his committee, demanding they explain to him how they do their accounting. But because of Tea Party folks here and across the nation, Henry Waxman has canceled those Star Chamber proceedings. The impact is real even only a year into the ascendancy of this movement, because it transcends partisan affiliation and it's about the policy choices. And Republicans and Democrats have to toe a line that they haven't had to toe for a long, long time.
The Constitution.
That's the line. But that doesn't mean that they will stop. That doesn't mean that they are satisfied controlling the banks and your insurance and making sure that every mortgage is issued by the government and every student loan is issued by the government, that they ship our manufacturing overseas with cap and trade. They won't stop. That they won't add 12 to 20 million more people to our voter rolls and our healthcare rolls with immigration reform. They will not stop because this is their lifeblood, and it all boils down to a singular word with respect to the Democrats, to the statists: control. That's what every single one of these issues is about. It is about control.
I won't be controlled.
Well, there you go. It says somebody's got to follow this guy's cue. He's got every cue down.
You can't control me.
So the good news is we're winning, and November can't come fast enough.
Hold it closer.
I am so encouraged, and I just talked to a gentleman who was talking to me as he had a tough day, drove by, saw the signs out here. He said this made his day, seeing people stand up, being involved, willing to take part in what's going on in our nation and say, you know what, it is our time to step up and take responsibility. So I am so excited about you. I'm so excited about this year and our time to be able to say we are heading in the wrong direction. We have a congressman that is not representing us. He's representing Nancy Pelosi. He's representing Barack Obama. He's representing every union leader across the nation, but he is not representing us. I talked to hundreds of people who have tried to contact his office to talk about health care, and he refused. He doesn't answer. They won't return calls. He won't come out and meet with people. Everything is closed down. That's got to change. We need a congressman who's listening to us, who's available. Here's a novel concept I've got for you. What if we had a congressman who actually worked for us? That's my...
Bad tax day. Have any of you asked yourselves today what life would be like if you didn't have the income tax? No? Boy, I have. The fair tax is a proposal to do just that, to get us back to where we were when the Founding Fathers finished the Constitution. An income tax was unconstitutional. And the country grew like it has never grown since for 150 years. We progressed and prospered like no other country on earth. And since about World War II, when the income tax was applied to everybody and the rates were raised to pay for the war, we've been going downhill. And it keeps getting worse.
Way worse.
And whenever you tax anything, a tax is a depressant on whatever that item is that's being taxed. And we're taxing income, which is the wrong thing to tax.
Yes.
You want to tax consumption. And if you tax consumption, instead of having an incentive to spend and incur debt, which we have now, you have an incentive to earn and save. And that's what they had for 150 years.
That's what we need now.
And that's what we need now, right. So we have a bill in Congress that's been sitting there for 11 years in the House Ways and Means Committee to replace the entire federal tax system with a national retail sales tax collected by the states. Individuals would no longer deal with the federal government at all.
Yay!